This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Tuesday. Warlord UK debate cancel video is at the end of the show. Sorry, my friend. You'll see the format when we get to it, and you'll see why that had to be at the end of the show. It's near Joe Rogan. I'm sorry it's when you're asleep. But it's prime time here. It might be when I'm asleep. To be honest with you, I'm kind of sleepy right now. This stream may just be watch Justin freaking take a nap. Sky Comet, RB, Amnestic, love you guys. Love you too, Warlord, of course. I haven't had a chance to look into the Kansas story. I saw you post about it. Who's running this shit over here? Me or you? Well, yeah, but there's more to it than that. There's more to it than that, Warlord. Sure, bro. I'm telling, fucking over Warlord like that. We've got shit. We've got so much shit to talk about. What we gonna talk about? We're starting off tonight with cops, and more cops. We've got the body cam from the Dallas shooting yesterday that has been released. You guys know you want to watch that. A Cincinnati officer was caught on camera doing a racism. Cop in Tennessee has been placed on leave after a bloody arrest. A sixth defendant in the Central Park 5 has been exonerated. The judge says that the case against paramedics and police in the Elijah McClain death can finally go forward. So you see, we got a lot of cop shit to talk about. Also, the big story tonight is Hunter Biden, the Hunter Biden bombshell. Chuck Grassley says that the FBI, the DOJ, has been covering for Hunter Biden. Meanwhile, we have new leaked audio from Steve Bannon talking about how he was wanting to do a smear job on Hunter Biden. And a story that has gone mostly under the radar, an ICE agent was involved in investigating Hunter Biden. Why would an ICE agent be involved in investigating Hunter Biden? That seems fucking weird. But first of all, you know how you start this show off. You get your meme of the day. Get you a cat that knows how to fucking party. If your party ain't that lit, I'm not coming. This is crazy audio. Hunter Biden did it. I'm sorry, Sky Comet. I'm sorry. It's an unhealthy obsession with the cops, Warlord says. Well, the last run-in I had with the cops, a CO stole about $50 off of a girl who had left money for me to bond out. Joe Biden did 9/11. Confirmed. Not high enough for this shit. I would love to do some LSD with you, Sky Comet. Oh, we're gonna go off the air later tonight. After we do the main show, we're gonna come back on because Barack Obama has dropped his summertime playlist. So we're going to come back on and we're going to listen to the Obama playlist. But it won't be the Troll Patrol. It'll be freaking fun time fucking around stream. What do you mean cancel Justin? What do you mean cancel Justin? I'm giving you extra stream. We're going to listen to the Obama playlist. It's got Beyonce. It's got Kendrick Lamar. Got some Al Green. No, not Obama now. We're not doing Obama now. We do Obama later. But we will do the British Prime Minister debate before we do Obama, if that makes you feel any better. Cancel Obama indeed. And like I'm sorry, like I didn't even know Obama dropped his playlist. I just saw like Frank the Socialist on Twitter post about like, why is everybody obsessed with Obama's playlist? And I was like, well, to be fair, like I usually look it over, I'm like, oh, those are some bangers. Like Obama has some decent taste in music, so we're gonna listen to the Obama playlist. Cancel Joe Obama. Cancel Joe Obama.
Come on, man.
Don't hold it against me. I was on crack.
I was on crack.
Right. Well,
Not even the first time Sparkles has canceled me this week. Apparently, she will be doing the Friday Night Freak Show with someone else now. It's no longer my show. Cancel Justin. The Friday Night Freak Show is breaking up. Bitch Fantastic is replacing Justin Freakin with the Kid Marrow. Don't add her about it. I didn't see anybody adding you about it. Everybody that I saw seemed to take it positively. It got retweeted and shit. Yes, I should be canceled for upsetting Amnestic. What am I doing, Amnestic? What did I do? Yes, Hunter Biden killed Jimmy Hoffa. He also kidnapped the Lindbergh baby. He started the fire. What other mysteries can we attribute to Hunter Biden? It's always goddamn warlord. It's always goddamn warlord. Hunter Biden ate the last pot. I'm sure that has been true more times than we can count. I mean, the man likes to get a good buzz. But we're going to be talking about Hunter Biden tonight. We're going to be talking about student loans. I've got some satisfying video of students, medical students, walking out of their white coat. What do they call that? Their white coat ceremony. Because the speaker was a pro-life doctor. We're going to talk about how apparently Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts tried to maintain Roe v. Wade. Ooh, I got some juicy video. There was a Georgia representative who voted against federal protection for gay marriage. Just days after voting for federal protections for gay marriage, he gave a speech at his son's gay wedding. If you didn't hear Matt Gaetz' comments on abortion, I'm sorry. We're going to have to hear him tonight. He has responded. And also, there's a few zingers been throwing Matt Gaetz' way. So that's going to be kind of funny. I hope. I hope that'll make a good segment. Almost half of parents won't get their children's vaccinated. Parents. Wu-Tang is for the children's. Vaccines are for the children's. Record flooding taking place in St. Louis, Missouri. We're going to check in on the wildfires burning in California at Yosemite. And then we're going to hear from Kennedy on the climate debate. I'm sure she is going to enlighten us. Congressional staffers were arrested outside of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's office. We're going to talk about Trump's return to D.C. Today was the first time Donald Trump had been in D.C. since leaving on January 20th. Plus, GOP fundraising isn't going too well. Hunter Biden faked the moon landing. Hunter Biden caused 9/11. Hunter Biden melts steel beams. Warlord is Hunter Biden. Apparently, there's a lot of conspiracy theories going around about Warlord's true identity. Sparkles believes that Warlord is an ogre. If it was an hour-long speech, I don't know about it. We've got like a 4-minute ABC News hit where they'll maybe play 30, 45 seconds of it. Oh, we have had a confirmed case of polio in this country. I'm sorry. I actually meant to. This is one of the first times that I've misled you in advertising. So this was the thumbnail. I've been doing this for a week or so now. I've been making thumbnails for the live show. I was just using a generic thumbnail before, but now, like, the stories I'm going to talk about. I was going to talk about COVID. Wait a minute. Do I have COVID? I do have COVID stories on here. Never mind. But, I'm not going to get to talk about Jojo Siwa. We'll get into that. I'm going to save Jojo Siwa for Friday night. Because it's not real news. It's one of those things where I put Jojo Siwa on there, I might get some clicks, because she's popular. I'll talk about Jojo Siwa and Candace Cameron Burr, their little feud on Friday night with Sparkles. But this might be my favorite thumbnail I've made for the live show, how Jojo's microphone is in Kennedy's mouth. And then this is my favorite, Matt Gaetz. Looking longingly at the underage girl. And then, of course, the COVID as the troll. What? Warlord. Are you off your meds tonight? No, don't ever call the cops. Don't ever call the cops. It never goes well. And here, let me show you story after story of it not going well here tonight. First to Dallas, where police have released the body camera footage from the shooting inside of the airport yesterday.
I want to commend all responding officers at left field. Now, before we show you the surveillance and body cam video from yesterday, I need to address Officer Cronin and his actions.
Before you say that, let me say that I believe that this woman was probably having some sort of mental episode. and probably shouldn't have been shot. She didn't seem to be shooting at anybody. The initial reports say she shot at the ceiling, but we're going to get to make up our own minds right now as we watch the security and body camera footage.
As a police department, we do what we can to prepare as we can for all scenarios that are possible in calls, to prepare our officers.
Glazy, what's up?
We protect. Of course, each response is different.
Love you, my friend. Thank you for being here.
But the response should always be the same. Swift, smart, and engage the threat. Lives depend on that quick decision.
This happened in Texas. Do I have to remind you of a recent story in Texas that shows that's the exact opposite of how the cops behave?
What it comes down to in the end is sheer bravery and courage.
I don't know that for sure, Sky Comment. I am
That we
guessing.
need to be both guardian as well as warrior. What you're about to see depicts a great illustration of what it means to be both. In situations,
They're trying to pass it off as they stopped a mass
our men and
shooting.
women must also be warriors. That is what Officer Cronin.
So they're trying to pass it off as they stopped a mass shooting, but here's the deal: is like doesn't fit the profile. Women don't usually commit mass shootings. It's not a thing that usually happens. So I'm guessing that they did indeed shoot somebody who was having a mental episode, and now they're trying to commend themselves. You have not missed Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is maybe 20 minutes away. Sassy, it is a bombshell. We've got multiple Hunter Biden stories tonight. He's a sexy man. I don't blame you. Warlord's still here in the chat, posing as a Brit.
Was. He didn't hesitate in engaging, managing to give commands to potential victims, attempting to guide them to safety, even after being involved in the most traumatic scenario of our beloved profession. I know his actions saved lives and prevented more injuries.
There have been women mass shooters, but they are incredibly rare. This is the woman getting out of her car, wearing a hoodie. I don't know how edited this is, but she seems to be very aware of where she's going. The reverse thread. Welcome. Okay, so she pulls her gun and just starts shooting at the ceiling. So this is interesting. The cop was already walking towards her. Took her down fast. So it was just a matter of seconds. But once again, she wasn't pointing the gun at anybody. She was shooting at the ceiling. I don't know if she was screaming something. She's still moving. Oh my God. How old are these people? Because, like, They have not moved. They have participated in some kind of school active shooter training shit. Working. Welcome. It's heartbreaking that, like, it is this common in this country that people are that aware. This looks to be security camera footage. We don't see a lot going on. We've got a better view of the cop as he's shooting the suspect. We see her gun. And she just had a handgun. If you're a mass shooter, if your intentions are to commit a mass shooting, why would you have a handgun? Once again, it doesn't fit the profile of a mass shooter. So I wonder what her motivation was. She is crawling back towards the gun. She is alive, by the way. She survived this, apparently. She tossed the gun away, held her hand up. Suicide by cop is always a possibility. But once again, that goes back to this is a person possibly having a mental episode if they're trying to commit suicide by cop. RB says it looks like there is a suppressor on the shooter's gun because we got to see the gun. We couldn't really see the shooter, but we got to see the gun really well in the last shot. And this is video of a video. Motherfuckers don't know how to get video off of their security system. Yep, Flash, he was a military veteran. I believe it happened in Virginia. Got fired because the other cops pulled up. Shot the dude. And then they complained about the first cop on the scene not shooting the dude. I was in West Virginia. I'm sorry, my apologies. Once again, my memory, but it's amazing that I remember. It's amazing that I remember these things as well as I do in order to do the news. But I'm a little hazy on details sometimes. But I'm gonna tell you if I'm hazy on details. We have a terminal that has a bullet shot. I wonder, like, if one of her bullets bounced off of the ceiling. Did the cop hit it while he was shooting at the woman? We're on body cam now, but, like, it's not body cam of the original cop when he shot the suspect. It's of the other cops that were on the scene maybe a minute or two after he shot the suspect. Happened about 11:08 Central Time yesterday. This is Dallas. This is Love Field. Content warning, we are seeing a woman who was just shot. She is They've kind of blurred it out, or maybe it's just shitty footage. It does look like they've been blurring it out. No, she is in a hospital currently. I mean, like, I don't know in this situation, like, what do you guys, like, was there the possibility that you could talk to her? She wasn't aiming the gun at anybody. Did you have to shoot her? Did they do the right thing? Because she is alive. Nobody was hurt. Do we need to give the cops props in this situation? When she initially starts firing, the cop runs away. And I wanted to be like, oh, coward cop. However, he only ran back in order to take cover, reorganize, and then he engaged her immediately. I mean, like, if we're passing judgment on him, I mean, like, to be fair, like, he probably acted. She aimed after that cop aimed at her. Oh. Was it, and that's another thing. Did the cop escalate it? Or, like, I don't know. This is a tough situation. This one is a tough situation. The pacifist in me says that, you know, you could have talked to her, that she wasn't actually out to harm anybody. I would probably not in an airport. You're not allowed to open carry in an airport, Merkin. Which how, like, she just walked in with it. Commercial wrong. Flash, love you guys. So there you go. That is the footage from yesterday's shooting. This is a tough one. I would like to know more about her mental state. I'm glad she survived. I'm glad nobody was hurt. And in this instance, I think the cops might have done the right thing. It's still debatable. I don't know. I mean, I would definitely be criticizing them if she had shot somebody, but I don't know that she had the intentions on shooting somebody. Now, here is an instance of a cop that I'm pretty sure is in the wrong.
You gotta move. Ridiculous.
This profanity-laced rant sent veteran Cincinnati police officer Rose Valentino to desk duty. On April 5th, she was pulling into the District 3 station to fill out a report when she noticed vehicles lined on the street to pick up students from school. She activated her lights and quickly became angry when they didn't move.
Is she gonna just sit there?
Body and dash camera video just released by CPD shows what happened next.
Dumb. Oh, I hate him so much. Oh, I hate this world.
After rolling up her cruiser's window, she uses the N-word. Valentino told investigators a black student gave her the finger, which led to her outburst. She was one of 4 officers profiled by WNWT and featured in a nationally televised reality show in 2011.
She got the big head.
You go into every situation as if it's the first time, you know, you've dealt with that sort of thing.
In Valentino's most recent performance review, dated after the rant, she was complimented as a hard worker who uses good judgment. A supervisor recommended she study for the promotion exam. In January 2019, this official reprimand says Valentino showed body cam footage from a homicide at the Glenway Pony Keg to family members while having dinner at the casino. In March 2020, she was arrested off duty. Her sister and brother-in-law accused her of pushing and hitting them with a closed fist and using an umbrella to repeatedly strike a vehicle. She pled guilty to disorderly conduct, a misdemeanor, and was ordered to attend an anger management assessment. 2 years later, she admitted she did not have control of her emotions here.
I hate it.
Valentino told internal investigations, "This is a hard job, and I was getting to a point where I was really being affected by it. I have been on for 14 years.
Well, why don't you do us all a favor and get the fuck out then? Stop being a cop. Oh, shit. Ohio is not the only place that has bad cops. It's all over the country. Here's Tennessee for you. Here's Tennessee, for example. West Tennessee officer placed on administrative leave after bloody arrest. The TBI is investigating.
An update now to an arrest caught on camera that we showed you last week. The video and the monitor right behind me here has led to a West Tennessee police officer being put on administrative leave, and it's also sparking questions about if
the video and the monitor right behind me will show a troll winking at you if you look at it long enough.
officers went too far.
This is 25-year-old Brandon Calloway. Police say he failed to stop at a stop sign and was driving 12 miles over the speed limit. A complaint affidavit obtained from the Tennessee Attorney General's office alleges that Calloway refused to pull over until he turned into his driveway. It says he then ran into his home, ignoring police commands as another officer, identified as Officer Richardson, arrived on scene. Then police say officers pursued and made entry by kicking in the front door.
Police tased Calloway and hit him with a baton. Calloway's girlfriend recorded this video, and it may be hard.
Upholstering a gun would be fab. Wait. I was into the upholstering a gun thing. So he failed to stop at a stop sign and was driving 12 miles over the speed limit. Failed to stop at a stop sign and was driving 12 miles over the speed limit. Apparently 12 miles was fast enough for him to be able to get to his house and go upstairs, and they busted in on him.
And hit him with a baton. Calloway's girlfriend recorded this video, and it may be hard to watch.
I got it. Stop!
This is absolute. This is fascism.
He has no weapon. Why are you chasing him? He's beating him and tasing him. He has no weapon, sir. There's no weapon. They're being
Look at that dumb fuck looking cop.
No, I need to record this. No, you will not. Don't put your hands on me. Do not put your hands on me.
I don't know if he's in here or not, but I heard the door slam.
Speeding and failing to stop at a stop sign. That is what this man is accused of. Speeding and failing to stop at a stop sign, and they busted into his fucking house and beat the fuck out of him.
What we got? Bring me my phone, Zaria. I need to call my mom. I need to call his mom.
Pepe, welcome.
Look how they're doing him. Zaria, hurry! Stop hitting him! Brandon, stop resisting! Brandon, just stop resisting! Just stop! Just stop! No! Just get on the ground! Get on the ground, Brandon! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get off of his neck!
Calloway was arrested and later bonded out of jail. He says he still has bruises, had to get stitches, and is experiencing blurred vision and headaches following that police interaction. And he says he never...
Sue the fuck out of them.
I'm definitely having flashbacks and nightmares. I really feel like the nightmare. So that's like a consistent thing. I always have fear because of what's happened to other people look at me. But no, I never thought anything like this would ever happen.
The cell phone video does not show the entire police interaction. Former Washington Police Chief Charles Ramsey says he did not see any efforts by police to de-escalate the situation. He says,
of course you didn't,
will be important in this investigation.
It's going to be important to see that body cam footage, because when you look at the cell phone video, there are periods of time when he's out of sight and you can't see exactly what's going on.
The Tennessee Attorney General's office denied CNN's public records request to obtain the officer's body camera footage, citing the open and ongoing investigation. Brandon Calloway's attorney, Andre Wharton, says they're asking for transparency into the investigation by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. He also says that the allegation of a traffic violation should not have escalated.
At best, you have two minor.
Send them a ticket in the mail.
No prior felony alleged, no robbery, no homicide, no shooting, no active shooter allegations, nothing of that sort. Rise to a quick level of forced entry into a home, immediate use of force.
Oakland police officer Richardson has been placed on administrative leave. That's according to the city manager. And Calloway
on leave. He should be fired immediately.
And no lawsuits have been filed. That is according to his attorney.
We begin.
Meanwhile, in New York, a sixth teenager that was charged in the Central Park jogger case has been exonerated. Stephen Lopez had a robbery charge linked to the 1989 attack cleared from his record. Stephen Lopez, who is now 48, was a teenager when he faced charges in connection with the sexual assault of a jogger in 1989. His conviction for a related robbery was vacated yesterday. A forgotten co-defendant of the Central Park Five, who, like them, was charged with the rape of a jogger in a case that shook New York City and the nation, had a related conviction overturned Monday in downtown Manhattan. The case against the five teenagers of color who were innocent of the 1989 assault of a white woman, but who were convicted on the basis of false confessions that the police elicited, continues to shape attitudes surrounding racism in the criminal justice system, the media, and society. But the story of the sixth man, Stephen Lopez, had previously been all but ignored. Mr. Lopez, who was arrested when he was 15, struck a deal with prosecutors just before his trial 2 years later to avoid the more serious rape charge, instead pleading guilty to robbery of a male jogger. Like his peers, he went to prison. Collectively, the group served close to 45 years. Piss you off. Here's another one that will piss you off, but at least we're closer to justice. Judge rules police and medics involved in the death of Elijah McClain can face criminal charges. For those of you who don't remember, this was the young man in, Aurora, Colorado. It was like this sweet young boy with autism that was injected with ketamine by the paramedic. He had done nothing wrong. He wasn't accused of anything. He just looked suspicious as he walked back from a gas station. And the video is heartbreaking because he is apologizing to the cops and just saying, "I'm sorry, I'm socially awkward," the entire time they are fucking abusing him. And this happened years ago. There is sufficient evidence to establish probable cause for each of the counts listed in the grand jury indictment, wrote Adams County District Court Judge Priscilla Lowell on Tuesday. That's a picture of Elijah Colorado judge ruled on Monday that 5 former Aurora police officers and paramedics involved in the wrongful 2019 death of Elijah McClain can now face criminal cases. Adams County District Court Judge Priscilla Lowell was asked by the former officers to review the case almost a year after the defendants were indicted by a grand jury on multiple counts, including manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. Lowell announced her verdict Tuesday afternoon. After reviewing the grand jury materials, the court finds, when viewing the evidence in the light most favorable to the people and with all inferences in favor of the prosecution, there is sufficient evidence to establish probable cause for each of the counts listed in the grand jury indictment. According to court documents, all 5 defendants have been scheduled to appear in court for arraignment on August 12th. Elijah's mother, this is Iris Halpern, was the lawyer for Elijah's mother, said, "We've been standing by the family throughout the case and the pain they've suffered. These are real humans with loved ones, and the issues impact not only the victim, but those around them in the after." I've been doing this shit for years too, and it still chokes me up. And I can't believe the paramedics went along with it. And I'm glad the paramedics are charged, because they should have never. I mean, I know the cops were bullying them, but they never, ever, ever should have let the. I mean, like. Apparently, they were doing some sort of study on the use of ketamine. And, like, the officers were really encouraging the paramedics to use it in order to get data for this study, because they wanted to be able to use ketamine or some shit like that. Oh, fuck. We're going to move to this case. Apparently, like, is this guy somebody? I know nothing about this case, but apparently it was big. This is this Victor Pena rape and kidnap case that took place in Boston. My algorithm kept telling me that it was something that I should be paying attention to. And the dude looks like he's a rock star or some shit, so. Jury has convicted this Victor Pena guy in Boston kidnapping and rape case.
Started deliberating at noon, and by 2 o'clock they were wrapped up. The district attorney believes that the victim's powerful testimony was key to conviction.
We are happy with this verdict. Our hearts continue to be with the survivor in this case.
After just 2 hours of deliberation, a jury finds Victor Pena guilty.
So say you, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say you, all members of the jury?
Yes.
Pena now convicted of kidnapping and 10 counts of aggravated rape. He encountered a young woman on a snowy night in 2019. She was intoxicated after a night out with friends. Pena brought
fuck this dude then.
An apartment where the victim was repeatedly raped.
She was brave, she was articulate, and she gave the jury the evidence they needed.
Bye-bye, dude.
This conviction.
She is the hero here.
You slimy piece of shit.
Yesterday when he took the stand, but otherwise watched from a different room after several outbursts during jury selection. The defense argued Pena was mentally unstable and should be found not guilty because he lacked criminal responsibility.
We've witnessed the trial, really the culmination.
Yeah, apparently he testified on his behalf, and that's the reason why we're watching this right now. If they're not going to show a clip of it in this news hit, we're going to watch it here in just a second.
Long-term problems.
Jurors instead sided with the prosecution.
Victor Pena, we believed adamantly always knew what he was doing, was responsible for his actions.
A sentencing hearing is scheduled for next Monday. In Boston, Sarah Conji, WCVB News Center.
He reminds me of that dude.
What say you, Madam Foreperson, on indictment number 1984 CR 131 on offense number...
Okay, so this is the verdict.
The defendant, Victor Pena, is charged with kidnapping. Is he guilty, not guilty, or not guilty by lack of criminal responsibility? Guilty.
Measure, thank you for being a freaking follower.
Madam Foreperson, on offense number 002, wherein the defendant, Victor Pena, is charged with...
That is the guilty verdict. This is him testifying. I actually wasn't going to mention it because, like, you know, it's not that big of a development. Why are you trying to mess up my flow, Warlord? Alex Jones ate a big old bowl of chili. I don't think we're actually going to hear testimony here. Cancel Justin, then. Cancel Justin. He's wearing like a rosary. That's what that's called, right? I want to hear his outbursts. That didn't that didn't give us what we wanted. I will find it though.
In a surprise move, Victor Pena is testifying in his rape and kidnapping trial. Closing arguments were expected to happen today before Pena decided to take the stand. Now, he's charged with kidnapping and 10 counts of aggravated rape for allegedly holding a 23-year-old victim against her will and sexually assaulting her for 3 days.
I want to hear his outbursts.
Who speaks Spanish is speaking through a translator.
Oh.
La policía.
It's not logical because if I go out to take the trash, why wouldn't she call the police?
Okay, let's have another question. Let's have a direct question. I'd like to get an answer, Mr. Pena. If you could specifically answer the question. Before the police entered...
Well, the 42-year-old defendant has not been in the courtroom during testimony and was instead watching remotely from another room. Pena was removed from the courtroom over his behavior during the jury selection process.
So that was the thing, that he claimed that it was consensual. So he's like, oh, why wouldn't you call the cops when I took out the trash? Shut the fuck up, you piece of shit. Now on to the investigation everybody actually wants to talk about, which isn't Alex Jones. It's Hunter Biden. Chuck Grassley says the FBI and the DOJ is actually burying dirt on Hunter Biden.
Meanwhile, the top Republican on the Senate Judiciary Committee, Senator Chuck Grassley, is pressing the Department of Justice and the FBI for answers. He wants an explanation after, quote, highly credible whistleblowers have come forward alleging that the agencies have downplayed negative information on Hunter Biden ahead of the 2020 election. Grassley says that the whistleblowers told him FBI officials falsely flagged verified evidence as disinformation. Joining me right now is New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor, and the author of Laptop from Hell.
Laptop from Hell.
Great to see you this morning.
Wait, I thought we were getting Chuck Grassley.
You know, this is interesting that now we're getting word from Chuck Grassley that these whistleblowers say that the FBI labeled.
I'm canceling Maria Bartiromo. I thought Chuck Grassley was coming on.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
classified evidence that you uncovered, that the Senate uncovered, Grassley and Johnson uncovered, and they labeled it disinformation. Maybe that's why 50 intelligence officials lied and signed their name to a letter calling it...
Mezer, that's a really good question, and that's a question that we may need to answer when I read this next story to you. Because there's something... as if the entire story hasn't been fishy all along. We've been here for all of it. What was that dude? Don Potted... What was that? What was the right before the election? He went on with Tucker Carlson and gave this whole hour-long interview. Tony Bartiromo or Maria Bartiromo is fucking me up here. Fucking Tony Babaducci or some shit like that. That's where the big guy came from and all that bullshit. We've been doing this story for 2 fucking years. Nothing has ever come of it. It's just right-wingers yakking about nonsense. They've got no information. But, this story is taking an interesting twist. Vice News did a report and they uncovered something wild about this.
Action.
Thanks, Maria. Well, this is really a breakthrough, and it does look like a concerted scheme to keep the derogatory Hunter Biden information, which was derogatory to Joe Biden, one of the candidates for president back then, out of public view, to stop the senators Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson, who were becoming very, very close.
Tony Bobolinsky.
Information to stop them from inquiring, to cover up for the Bidens, and to obstruct any journalist reporting or Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson doing their investigation.
Meanwhile, the
Bullshit. Let's hear from Vice News, a real journalistic outlet, not the New York Post. ICE agent in sex trafficking unit donated to the GOP and then days later investigated Hunter Biden. It is unclear what connection the New Jersey agent had to the case involving Biden's laptop that was being pushed by Donald Trump's acolytes in the latter days of the 2020 campaign. In the months leading up to the 2020 presidential election, the same ICE sex trafficking investigator who looked into unproven allegations against Hunter Biden, President Joe Biden's son, made multiple donations to a fundraising platform heavily aligned with former President Donald Trump's re-election campaign. Around the time the agent, who was in the child exploitation group of the Homeland Security Investigations Unit, which is part of ICE, contacted the Delaware State Police regarding Biden's connection to potential crimes, he was repeatedly giving money to Win Red, a controversial GOP small donations platform that raised millions of dollars in an effort to beat the Biden campaign in 2020. Vice News first learned of the ICE investigation into Hunter Biden after obtaining a document through a public records request in 2021. The fact that an agent within the Department of Homeland Security, a highly politicized agency throughout the Trump administration years, was, for no obvious reason, investigating explosive claims against the son of a sitting president's direct political rival begs the question whether or not it was a politically motivated hack job altogether. DHS refused to answer multiple questions on the investigation, including whether the agent in question decided to look into Hunter Biden on his own volition or was directed to do so by a superior. Though the agent's name, entire resume, and current occupation is posted on LinkedIn, the agency claimed he was working undercover and could not be named in print. Vice News, which is withholding the agent's name due to government requests, but because doing so is not due to government requests, but because doing so could expose him to harassment from conspiracy theorists, it was able to reach the agent on his personal cell phone, but he did not respond to multiple requests. Meanwhile, Mother Jones has another juicy little tidbit that makes this seem like it's all a political hit job. We have leaked audio. Steve Bannon bragged that he used porn to help smear Hunter Biden. He said that he pushed the material as part of a plan for Trump to declare election victory no matter what. So here is the clip of this leaked audio.
He was very close to winning outright then and shutting down Trump. That the hard drive from hell stopped his momentum. Then the other thing is the way we drove up Biden's negatives. The only thing that stopped the momentum was the hard drive from hell, right? And two parts of that were Luda's editorial creativity over the pictures, and really the CCP involvement. That's what shocked the American people. Sleepy Joe, he never drove up Biden's negatives. It was only when we got the hard drive and got it to you that in the post. Yeah. If you look at here's where the Bidens fucked up. From the day the Post story came out, and then you started pumping out, we got you the stuff, and you started just dumping it out, and then the internet started picking up, and they suppressed it. Remember, the best thing that happened to us was Twitter and Facebook suppressing it, because then everybody wants to see it. Remember,
the best thing that happens to us, and right-wingers do it all the time, I always say it when they claim they're being censored. It's a marketing ploy. That's all they're using it as. Because they think it helps them. The dumb fucks they're trying to appeal to buy into it and like, oh, I've got to seek out their content since they're being censored. Bull fucking shit.
And Facebook suppressing it, because then everybody wants to see it. Remember, we hammered this guy every day for 10 days with the worst pictures in the world, drug addict, taking money from CCP, from Chinese spies. No response. Nothing. And the negatives just keep going up because people are sitting there going, I didn't know that about Joe Biden, but Joe Biden, not one person came out and said, those pictures are not true, right? Nobody came out.
Well, they're not true. Nobody believed they were true. I mean, I don't know, like, I assume that, I have my doubts about the picture of him with the crack pipe in his mouth on a pillow, just because, like, I think that defies physics. I don't think a crack pipe can stay in your mouth like that. So I wonder if that picture is actually real, but, like, it's really Hunter Biden in the pictures, but is there anything incriminating that's not fucking photoshopped? He's evil incarnate, I think. I'm pretty sure. Maybe. I don't know. He's some kind of a gremlin or a hobbit or a... What is this thing? What are we looking at? It's scary.
One person came out and said, those pictures are not true, right? Nobody came out and said anything you're saying is not true. Even the wildest allegations. When Trump got COVID and when Trump had that first debate, within that 1 week period, Biden could have put him away. The campaign would have been over. Biden would have won with 500 electoral votes, but they didn't do it.
He did win.
So now, I'm not saying Trump's going to win, but we have a fighting chance.
Oh, this was before the election. I'm not saying we're going to win, but we have a fighting chance. So, because I was about to say, like, fucking Biden did blow him out. A former Bannon employee told Mother Jones that Bannon instructed him to get out all the sex pictures. Bannon did not respond to requests for comment, which, I mean, hey, he's kind of got his plate full right now. He's in a little bit of trouble. One of the things that Biden campaigned on, one of the reasons why young people voted for him, was student loan forgiveness. It looks like he's at least going to pause one more time repayment, student loan servicers told not to contact borrowers as payment pause deadline nears. President Joe Biden in April extended a pause on repayments of federal student loans to August 31st. A little more than a month before the student loan debt moratorium is scheduled to end, the federal government has told loan servicers not to contact borrowers about resuming payments, a trade group official said Monday. Now, they did contact me in April. I got the, are you ready to start making payments again? Fuck you. The Education Department has been telling loan servicers not to reach out to borrowers as recently as the last couple of weeks, said Scott Buchanan, the executive director of the Student Loan Servicing Alliance, which represents all of the companies that service the federal loans subject to the administration's moratorium. NBC News has asked the Education Department for comment. The Wall Street Journal first reported on Monday that loan servicers have been told not to contact borrowers. President Joe Biden in April extended the pause on federal loan repayments until August 31st, saying the nation was still recovering from the coronavirus pandemic. My friend, come on. You campaigned on canceling at least 10,000, so come the fuck on and do that.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Hopefully you're saving it for here in the fall when people are paying attention to politics, perhaps in September, the end of August, so it's fresh in the news cycle for September, so when people really start paying attention to politics for the fall election. Remember, we are coming up on a congressional election season. He said he would fucking do 10,000. At least do 10,000. At least do what you said you were going to do. So hopefully it's everybody's back to school and everything like, oh, hey, I'm going to forgive 10 grand and we're going to extend the moratorium another year. Go ahead and extend it another year. Go ahead and extend it another fucking year. White House officials said Monday night that no decision had been made about whether to extend it again. The official said Biden will make a decision before August 31st. Speaking of people with student loan debt, these students at the University of Michigan were attending their white coat ceremony. The keynote speaker had anti-abortion views, so the students let their views be known. So, based.
Good afternoon. I'm quite honored to have been chosen as this year's...
So just as soon as she starts speaking, and it looks like all white coats walking out.
Everyone who has joined us for this special day. Especially to our new students, their families, and their loved ones.
So they were protesting Kristen Collier. She had tweeted out, holding to a view of feminism where one fights for the rights of all women and girls, especially those who are most vulnerable. I cannot lament the violence directed at my prenatal sisters in the act of abortion done in the name of autonomy. So the students had petitioned the school to replace Collier. The University of Michigan said the white coat ceremony is not a platform for discussion of controversial issues. Its focus will always be on welcoming students into the profession of medicine. Dr. Collier never planned to address a divisive topic as part of her remarks. However, the University of Michigan does not revoke an invitation to a speaker based on personal beliefs. Before her speech, Collier gave a nod to the controversy.
Our community has suffered over the past several weeks. We have a great deal of work to do for healing to occur, and I hope that for today, for this time, we can focus on what matters most. Coming together to support our newly accepted students and their families with the goal of welcoming them into one of the greatest vocations that exist on this earth, the vocation of medicine.
CNN requested a comment from Collier and did not receive a response. While we're on the topic of abortion, let's talk about how apparently Roberts is putting out the narrative that he fought to save Roe v. Wade. And they just wanted to let states go a little closer in time than what Roe v. Wade did.
Beginning this hour with new CNN reporting that takes us behind the scenes, revealing just how close the Supreme Court came to saving Roe v. Wade. According to multiple sources, Chief Justice John Roberts fought to the bitter end, trying to convince his fellow conservative justices to preserve the constitutional right to abortion. But it was the unprecedented leak of a draft opinion reversing Roe that may have doomed Roberts' efforts.
New details obtained by CNN reveal the high-stakes internal abortion rights drama that intensified in April when the justices first learned the draft opinion would soon be published. Tensions.
I don't know if Roberts leaked it, then I don't think we'd be hearing this story now.
Chance Roberts had to dislodge the 5-justice bloc set to overturn the abortion ruling.
Joining us to share her fascinating new reporting here is CNN legal.
I would say it's like a Coney or a Gorsuch office.
How hard he was fighting to bring some folks over to his
Maybe even Alito's office, yeah. Craleo, welcome.
Extremely hard. He was trying week after week after the initial vote in December, after oral arguments, in which 5 of the justices on the far right voted to overturn Roe. Roberts was alone in the middle, wanting to uphold this Mississippi 15-week ban on abortions, but not go further than Roe. And then, of course, you had the 3 liberals saying, we don't want to do any of this. We don't want to disrupt abortion rights at all. So Roberts keeps trying, and it's interesting, Brianna, that not only did his work affect, his efforts toward the 2 newest justices, Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, but it had an effect on the others. The hard right justices became concerned that he could be successful. The chief has himself switched votes in the past, and he has also been able to pick off justices on the far conservative side for a more of a moderate centrist decision in certain cases. So they became anxious about what he was up to, and the liberals, who had such a defeat this session, started to have some hope that maybe Roe would not be overturned completely. But then on May 2nd, when the draft of the opinion was released and everything
No. I'm glad they did it. I'm glad that there wasn't this compromise with Roberts. We're gonna set it at 15 weeks, and then they're gonna come back next session and they're gonna let blah blah Alabama have a 9-week ban, and it was gonna be bullshit. I'm glad they just went ahead and did it, and now we get to show them the political consequences of them doing it. My God, I hope it motivates people in the fall, and it does look like it has swung polling in Democrats' favor barely.
efforts all the harder, because he's a man who likes to work privately, in secret, offering some concessions himself, seeking concessions for some sort of, as I say, cross-ideological compromise. And it went down to the wire, according to my sources, but in the end, he made no headway.
The first vote, which I learned only from your reporting, was back in December. I mean, it was earlier than I think we had realized. You said it went down to the wire, though. Did either Kavanaugh or Amy Coney Barrett ever give any reason to anyone to believe that they were going to side with
It is a puff piece to make Roberts look good. That's what I'm saying. This narrative is coming from Roberts.
With Brett Kavanaugh, who often will, sound ambivalent and send mixed signals.
I would think. I don't have any inside information on that.
Just how much encouragement he might have given the chief. As I understand it, his vote was solid, but he never said that he wasn't going to listen to the chief. So the chief kept trying. The thing that happened that, as I said, really thwarted things was when it was clear to the public how Justice Kavanaugh and Justice Barrett had voted. It locked them in more than might have been expected at that point. It made it made it all the more difficult. And, you know, I do.
We always knew that was the way they were going to vote.
He said during his confirmation hearing, and despite the way that his sort of a belief.
That's what I'm thinking, Virtual Realm. That's what I'm thinking. Like, this is coming straight from Robert's office.
Never going to switch. He was probably never going to change after he first said that he wanted to reverse Roe. His signal from the bench during those oral arguments, John, in December before they took that vote was, you know, pretty strong.
Well, okay, so the conventional wisdom on that is that they had taken the vote. The vote was to overturn Roe. They leaked that draft opinion that overturned Roe to make sure that Amy Coney Barrett or Justice Gorsuch didn't switch their votes. So, like, they were locked in because, like, if they had decided to just side with Roberts on the 15-week ban, then, like, they would have looked like they had reversed their position. So that's why they're saying that the leak locked them in and affected the final outcome. That Roberts may have been able to get through to them between December and when did we get the final decision? The end of May? Or was it like the week before my birthday? I don't even remember now. If you guys remember last week, because of the Supreme Court decision on Roe v. Wade, because of the willingness of the court to revisit anything decided on the 14th Amendment, Congress took a vote on federally codifying same-sex marriage. This is leaked audio from a Republican who voted against it. It is U.S. Representative Glenn Thompson. Was that Warlord said Glenn Thompson win? I think back earlier. Yeah, Glenn Thompson, yeah. I had no fucking clue who you were talking about. Oh, I thought he was from Georgia. I said he was from Georgia. Apparently, he is a representative from Pennsylvania. U.S. Representative Glenn Thompson, who had voted against the House Democrats' bill to protect same-sex marriage at the state and federal level, just days before attending his son's own gay wedding, had this to say.
We've been fortunate with 3 sons and done a great job of adding to the family. Every kid showed up through cesarean section, so it wasn't all pleasant, right? So this has been a really good experience. New son into the family.
So for those of you who might not be able to make that out, he said, this has been a really good experience to have a new son enter the family. We're just blessed. Clearly very happy about it. Wild.
We're just blessed, and we just want to say thank you, and everyone's here as part of the celebration.
What a fucking hypocrite. What a fucking hypocrite.
Come on, man.
Why you gotta be such a hypocrite for? Not a complete asshole, but he voted against codifying same-sex marriage at the federal level. He voted against the thing he was praising, saying it had been a really good experience. Fuck this dude. He is a hypocrite. Speaking of hypocrites, Matt Gaetz stands by his controversial comments on female abortion rights protesters.
It's good to see everybody.
Representative Matt Gaetz met with seniors in Escambia County Monday, 2 days after speaking at a conservative summit in Tampa.
The people are just disgusting.
The congressman posted the Turning Point USA speech to Facebook, including his take on pro-choice protesters.
Why is it that the women with the least likelihood of getting pregnant are the ones most worried about having abortions?
That is a George Carlin joke that he just told in reverse. What's the Carlin bit? Why is it that the people that are most pro-life are the people you wouldn't want to fuck anyway?
Nobody wants to impregnate you if you look like a thumb. They're like 5'2".
You look like a thumb, dude.
And they're like, give me my abortions or I'll get up and march and protest. And I'm thinking, march? You look like you got ankles weaker than the legal reasoning behind Roe versus Wade.
Those comments.
Also, I'd just like to say, how in the fuck is Matt Gaetz still in Congress? I wonder it every day. How in the fuck is Matt Gaetz still in Congress?
Congressman Matt Gaetz.
Becoming a talking point Monday morning on The View.
Comments like he made really leave no room for any intellectual conversation because he went so low on that.
I spoke with Gaetz after Monday morning's event and asked him about his comments.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Abortion is a basic right. Fight, fight, fight.
Be offended.
The center of Gaetz's comments sit right here in Pensacola.
What's your reaction to that?
I think, this trend of really dismissing and diminishing women who are fighting for their right to bodily autonomy and their right to basic, healthcare as being just like too ugly to even need access to
too old for him, indeed.
Misogyny that these abortion bans are rooted in.
Gaetz tweeted this the day after this.
Well, also, it's just fucking more disgusting misogyny, and that women are reduced to how fuckable men consider them. Fuck all the way off, dude. Fuck all the way off. Women aren't your sexual toys, no matter how many of them you buy, Matt Gaetz.
His decision was leaked. He suggested women rallying against it were overeducated and underloved millennials. In the meantime, a judge reinstated Florida's 15-week abortion ban this month after initially blocking the new law. The fight isn't over, and politicians like Congressman Gaetz aren't backing down.
It's just pure ugliness, and I see that ugliness on the inside. I see it on the outside.
I see ugliness on my screen right fucking now.
Nothing to celebrate, and it is nothing to cheer.
What a gigantic piece of shit. But don't worry. He will be in jail by 2024. At least that's what a Mike Pence aide says. Ex-Pence aide shuts down Matt Gaetz' attack. It's more likely that he'll be in prison by 2024. A top Pence aide tore into Representative Matt Gaetz, who was under investigation for the possible sex trafficking of a minor after the lawmaker suggested that former Vice President Mike Pence had no chance of becoming the next President of the United States. A broken clock is right twice a day. Matt Gaetz is right. Mike Pence has absolutely zero chance of being the next President of the United States. The idea is just laughable. If he wanted to be president, his key to becoming president would have been pulling the trigger on the 25th Amendment after January 6th. That was how you could have been president, sir. You could have enjoyed it for a couple of weeks. You would have got a few days in the Oval. You would have got a few days in what do they call it? The yellow Oval. You would have got to wear the pajamas. If you wanted to taste the presidency, that was your only fucking shot, dude. That's as close as you will ever fucking come. Oh, do we have? Oh, we got his comments.
our America is proudly ultra MAGA, not some low.
Ultra MAGA my ass.
On that note, let me just say what everybody here knows. Mike Pence will never be president. Nice guy, not a leader.
Well, that wasn't even that bad of a shot.
I don't know if Mike Pence will run for president in 2024, but I don't think Matt Gaetz will have an impact on that. In fact, I'd be surprised if he was still voting. It's more likely he'll be in prison for child sex trafficking by 2024. And I'm actually surprised that Florida law enforcement still allows him to speak to teenage conferences like that. So I'm not too worried about Matt Gaetz.
That was great. Honestly, how is he speaking at a teenage conference? TPUSA. Trump was back in D.C. for some kind of a conference today. What the fuck was going on? I don't even remember what it was now. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell Drake, hey, how are you? I did not welcome you into the fold tonight. The America First Agenda Summit. The America First Agenda Summit. Never even heard of it.
Since he left office 18 months ago, former President Trump has returned to Washington, D.C. to deliver a speech to a conservative group aligned with the MAGA movement. Trump is set to give the closing address at the America First Policy Institute's America First Agenda Summit. For more on Trump's visit, let's bring in ABC News political director Rick.
Oh, it's the Nick Fuentes group? Oh, my God. He went and spoke to the Groypers?
What are we likely to hear from the former president?
It is the Trump agenda in exile, and there are a lot of different groups kind of splintered off that are trying to represent what former President Trump represented and what he might represent going forward. In fact, Peter Navarro, the former Trump aide, even urged Trump not to attend because he says this is not the true carrier of the Trump flame. But
yeah, it is.
Decided to make this his return to Washington. So we were hearing from people like former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, maybe possible future Speaker Kevin McCarthy, to try to showcase the degree of Republican unity that continues to surround everything Trump. There are limits to that unity, which is also on display today. But Trump set to make this speech in one of the more highly anticipated events of his post-presidency.
Now, Trump's former Vice President Mike Pence.
Oh shit! Do we not have the fucking speech?
Foundation's convention earlier today, where he was asked about his relationship with Trump. Let's listen.
And I'll always be grateful for the opportunity to serve as Vice President. So I don't know that our movement is that divided. I don't know that the president and I differ on issues. But we may differ on focus.
So, Rick, is Pence's political career viable, you think, after the backlash he faced following January 6th? And I'm wondering if he could, in the end, become a rival to former President Trump and actually run against him in 24.
It's only viable. That is right. If Republican voters.
I mean, he can be in the primary. That's all fine and dandy.
Voters agreed that the agenda is similar enough or the same enough. The difference only being whether you're going to look backwards or look forward. One of his big problems, and I think there's a lot of them, but one of the big problems is that Trump has made the focus on the last election the singular issue, the defining issue of his post-presidency. He continues to maintain fictions around that election, the fictions that famously Pence himself called out by deciding to certify those votes. There's no sign that Trump has backed down from those false claims about the last election, and that leaves the Trump voters, many of them very much split. We've heard from some of them out as we've talked to people around the country, Alexis, and some say they're still foursquare behind Trump. Some say they're weary of him. Some say they would park their support with Pence. There are also, though, a raft of more ambitious younger Republicans who are ready to take that mantle if they can grab it.
So Trump's.
Let me tell you. Here is what Trump had to say earlier today, or at least a portion of it. It was like an hour-long speech, but we're going to get like a little minute-long clip from The Independent here.
Lunatics attacked innocent victims at random, roving.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's a Trump speech for you.
Drugged out lunatics attacked innocent victims at random. Roving mobs of thieves walked into the stores and walk out with whatever merchandise they can carry. They're left alone. Nobody tells them, don't do this. Put it back now. Homeless encampments are taking over every public park and every patch of green space in previously beautiful urban centers. And the dangerously deranged roam our streets with impunity. We're living in such a different country for one primary reason. There is no longer respect for the law, and there certainly is no order. Our country is now a cesspool of crime. We have blood.
Yeah, and you do most of it. You do like the majority of the crime in this country. You and people associated with you and your movement are doing the majority of the crimes in this country. If the country is a cesspool, sir, you are the one contributing to it.
Looks down, she sees all people she's been competing with for years because they rise.
Oh, fuck.
She looks over here and she sees people, but then
Content warning.
You know, they
Transphobia coming at you.
somebody with a man's body. That's what they do. They call it. I said, you think it's okay to say that? That's actually the expression they're using. They'll change that soon, so I have to do it quickly, I have to say, because they're going to change that.
Learned something today that I didn't know, but I should have known was true. It was like, you know, like one of the areas with the most searches for trans porn are red states. Red states. Yeah, fucking villainizing homeless people, villainizing trans people, going after the most vulnerable in our community just because it's easy. There's not a lot of people advocating their position out there. It's easy to hate the homeless. It's easy to hate people that you don't know personally, that you don't understand. So fuck.
And you know the guy, he was named Female Athlete of the Year. Did you know that? It's true. He was just named.
Not true.
We're not dealing with things that are so easy here, Newt.
Not true. Not true. It was in the finalists, but did not win.
99% of the things I'm saying are common.
And her name is Leah
She
Thomas.
looks over and sees her friends down there, and then she looks, and this guy is massive. He's got a wingspan. He's got arms that are 30 feet long, 218 pounds, and she got over that weight, and she was going to break it. They put a half an ounce here, half little tiny ring on top of these big barbells, dumbbells. Then they go, and she went like this, and she got it. Stood for 11 years. And her mother and father are screaming, "You got it! You got it, darling. I'm so proud of my girl." Well, she couldn't do it. And then this guy comes along. He's named Alice. And he looks at the weight. World record. We could have put another couple of 100 pounds on. I think he would have lifted her.
I'm sorry, I subjected you guys to that. I clicked on the video just because he was doing this in the thumbnail, and I was like, what's he doing with his little hands? If I know we were going to get such blatant transphobia for no fucking reason, I wouldn't have done it. But hey, like, it is seeming to have an effect on GOP. They face an alarming online fundraising drop ahead of crucial midterm elections. Even though Republicans are still widely projected to win back at least one chamber of Congress in the fall's midterm elections, the party's fundraising machinery has had an unexpected slowdown in recent weeks. New York Times' Shane Goldmacher reports that the drop in online donations to the Win Red platform dropped by 12% in the second quarter of 2022, which he says has left party officials alarmed about their ability to compile a large enough war chest to deliver truly punishing defeats to Democrats. In addition to the GOP's unexpected online fundraising woes, Democrats have also seen a surge in small donor donations, despite the fact that President Joe Biden is dealing with record low approval ratings for a president at this point in his first term. This has resulted in Democrats widening their edge in online donations by roughly $100 million over the first half of 2022. According to Goldmacher's reporting, at least part of the problem for Republicans can be traced back to the deeds of former President Donald Trump. Exacerbating the fundraising problems for Republicans is that Mr. Trump continues to be the party's dominant fundraiser, and yet virtually none of the tens of millions of dollars he has raised has gone toward defeating Democrats. Instead, the money has funded his political team and retribution agenda against Republicans who have crossed him. So Donald Trump is indeed their downfall. Hopefully. If the Democrats can capitalize on it. Alright, I need to refill my drink. I'm going to leave you guys with a commercial break. When we get back on the other side, we're going to talk about climate change. Record rainfall in St. Louis. Firefighters finally catching a break, fighting the fire that's plaguing Yosemite. Kennedy, the MTV VJ, is going to give you her opinion on climate change. We're going to talk about COVID. The boosters are getting targeted, variant-specific formulas sooner than expected, but almost half of parents say they won't get their children vaccinated. Plus, Joe Rogan is still upset about being called a conservative. All that and more on the other side of this commercial break.
Now we turn to YouTuber Justin FREAKIN. The guy's, he's a formidable voice in the culture. Uncensored and unfiltered political talk and debate from a leftist perspective. The day's top news stories and videos with astute social commentary.
Not high enough for this shit.
All we're establishing is this guy's wicked sick aesthetic.
Right-wingers are morons.
You brought back the wrong kind of fucking cake, you idiot.
Guess I gotta thank Matt Walsh for introducing me to Justin FREAKIN.
Yet you're like, we'll pray for somebody. You think you can telepathically communicate with a deity, and you have the audacity to say somebody else has a mental disorder. For the love of God. Hi, I'm Justin FREAKIN. I'm a leftist broadcaster and comedian, not liberal, leftist. And despite what you may have heard from right-wing propaganda, George Soros isn't handing out Soros bucks and funding people like me. There are no Koch brothers, Mercers, or any number of right-wing think tanks funding content on the left side of the spectrum the way they fund people like Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and Dennis Prager. And YouTube doesn't monetize videos that are controversial or deal with politics unless you're someone like Steven Crowder. So this is an ultimatum. Become a patron. Support my Patreon, where I'm going to become a right-winger and get some of that easy money. You know for a fact that I could be bigger than Charlie Kirk or Jesse Lee Peterson.
Amazing!
All I have to do is talk about how I used to be an SJW snowflake, but the left went too far with their cultural Marxism, and Republicans are stupid enough to buy it, even though this video exists. And you know I'm right. So give me your money or I'm selling you out.
Welcome to the Freak Show.
Like, you don't have to hit rock bottom every day. You don't. Come on down to Taco Bell, get an STD. I've had a couple dozen them Kinder Eggs. Shut the fuck up. And some boogers.
And then you follow him and he's in the fucking ditch before you ever even got to the food land.
Everybody's gonna die. I don't like onions. I like Donnie Chico nuggets.
I still could just slap the shit out of you. It's like a turtle, but wormier.
We live in turbulent times. The media is full of deception, conspiracy theories, and fake news. Now, more than ever, it is important to ensure you're getting information from a source that's freaking reliable.
I'm Justin Mullins, and this is the Freakin' News.
Get a breaking or interesting story with a humorous twist in about a minute weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and more.
But hey, I promise whenever I come back from an ad, you get a new meme. This one says, world's best landlord, world's best property manager. It's a two-panel. The bottom panel says, please wake up. Under a picture of Homer standing over Chairman Mao's dead body. I'm amused. Please wake up. There's a fantastic Alabama 3 song called Mao Zedong. And I encourage everyone to listen to it. Alabama 3. Speaking of music, we're going to take a slight break here in probably about 40 minutes. We're going to switch the graphics here. We're going to listen to Obama's summer playlist. Obama dropped his summer playlist. So I'm going to end the Troll Patrol, which has advertising and monetization and all that good shit. And we'll come back and we'll start a freaking fun time fucking around stream, and we can listen to copyright music and shit. So we will listen to Obama's summer directly after the Troll Patrol. About 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes to get everything switched over, and we will listen to Obama. Oh, you want to listen to? You want to do the debate? You want to do the debate right now? Let's do the debate right now. I don't know what happened. Let's fucking do it. I'm down. So, we covered it last night. The race to replace Boris Johnson as Prime Minister is down to the top two Liz Truss and fucking Sunak. Rishi Sunak. Tory leadership debate between Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss halted after presenter faints in studio. Liz Truss held her hand to her face and said, "Oh my God," and then the broadcast was cut. What? Yeah. That'll do it.
He's not going to stop that. He's going to challenge the freedom and democracy. Oh my God.
Piers Morgan went to break. Okay, why are you guys having so many goddamn debates? Like, it's still, 6 weeks until the vote? There's a debate yesterday. There's a debate today.
Not going to stop that. He's going to challenge the freedom and democracy. Oh my God.
What do you mean 4 days? The vote's in 4 days? I thought it was in 6 weeks. Oh, it starts in 4 days and you've got like a whole fucking 6 weeks or something to vote? God damn. Insane. Or am I just completely fucked up? Do I not even know what I'm talking about with the whole 6 weeks thing? Online vote. Listen to this shit. They're in the 21st century over there in the UK. No wonder the lady on the Sky News fainted. You guys are living in the future. Like I'm playing Watch Dogs Legion. That's an alright game. I liked it well enough. Got a little repetitive towards the end. Let's dug it out though. I beat it. This is St. Louis, Missouri. Record rainfall. Floodwaters submerged cars in St. Louis after record-breaking rainfall.
Freaking crazy. That's the highway.
Maybe about 2 or 3 minutes ago, I was about 20 feet further than where I am, extended out on that walkway, and now it is being overrun with water. You can see how it's really coming up rather quickly. Several vehicles were reported completely submerged underwater. You have the overpass ahead of us, and you can see some of the conditions.
Messenger seat. 14's the response.
God damn.
14 Arsenal Watson.
You can see there's a couple cars out there floating around. Crazy thing is that the road right here next to it's all boxed in, Deuce.
Hey everybody, Smokey Bong.
Thanks for watching our YouTube.
It made me sad when he was missing to think about I may never get to play my Here Comes Smokey graphic again. My God. Made me cry, Cat. You made me cry multiple times. I didn't cry in front of anybody until the last day. I always cried to myself.
The Oak Fire in Mariposa County only grew about 850 acres.
Sucks to be in Missouri. Sucks to be out in Cali where the Oak Fire is still raging.
It was overnight, scorching about 18,000 acres since it started on Friday with 26% containment. That fire just west of Yosemite National Park has already burned down 55 structures. Evacuation orders are still in place for over 5,000 people in that area. CAL FIRE officials say they hope to have the Oak Fire contained by this weekend, but for now, the governor has declared a state of emergency for that area. Danya Backus has the latest.
Nearly 3,000 fire.
I'm interested as to why you think I have the wrong cat. No, that is totally Smokey. There is no denying it. Anyone who's watched the Troll Patrol for any amount of time knows that, like, that's exactly what Smokey would do, was jump on my lap and I'd hug him like that. That's exact Smokey behavior. He inhales his balls just like he always did. He licks his titty the way he always did. What is up, Mandy? Welcome. Sucks to be in Missouri where we have record flooding. Sucks to be in California where there's not even a fire season anymore. It's just like year-round wildfires. But specifically, they get really bad this time of year.
Firefighters working around the clock are making progress containing the oak fire near Yosemite National Park. A wave of humidity moved into the area overnight, allowing crews to work on hotspots and set up control lines. As of Tuesday morning, the fire scorched about 28 square miles and was 26%.
God damn.
But this fight is far from over.
There's brush that has been on the ground for years now that is just tinder dry. It takes one spark and instantly you have a fire.
Fire officials are confident they can keep the fire out of Yosemite National Park.
You know, at least one of the main roads into Yosemite is closed and inaccessible right now. But we don't believe that the fire is going to get into Yosemite.
At least 50
I hope.
homes and other structures are damaged or destroyed. The Oak Fire is the third large wildfire in Mariposa County just this month.
If it's not you this time, it'll be next time. That the folks are really on, pins and needles.
Dry conditions are causing fire danger across the country. Near Dallas, Texas, fire officials believe a lawnmower sparked a wildfire that tore through this neighborhood Monday afternoon, burning at least 20 homes.
It jumped from this spot to that spot, just in a matter of seconds. And then everything went completely dark.
And in Alaska, crews have battled more than 530 wildfires. Washington State firefighter Eric Keene shot this video of the clear fire near Fairbanks earlier this month. That fire, still raging, has burned an area the size of Durham, North Carolina. Danya Backus, CBS News.
Fucking wow. Wow. That's the results of climate change. Yesterday, congressional staffers were arrested protesting inside of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's office, citing the failure of the Biden administration and U.S. Congress to take meaningful action to combat the climate emergency. Yeah, you know what? It's not climate change. It's the climate emergency. A group of congressional staff members. The lawn just fucking light on fire because of the lawnmower. Don't make me tap the meme. We've got to take drastic action. Something's got to happen. Citing the failure of the Biden administration and U.S. Congress to take meaningful action to combat the climate emergency, a group of congressional staff members on Monday staged a sit-in at Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's Washington, D.C. office that ended in some of their arrests. Guess Chuck really didn't want to talk about climate today, one of the arrestees said. According to the New Yorker, during the demonstration, the 17 protesters held up signs reading "Climate Action Now, Chuck," "Our farms are flooding, solidarity forever." Before his arrest, protester Saul Levin, who works on climate justice, labor, and transit policy for Representative Cory Bush and is a coordinator of the Congressional Progressive Staff Association Climate Working Group, tweeted that the staffers are peacefully sitting in on Senator Schumer's office to demand Dems pass climate justice policy this year. There you are seeing some of the arrests. After his arrest, Levin told NBC News, can we have the interview?
What exactly are you asking from Schumer that he's not doing?
To reopen the negotiations on climate reconciliation package, and then to actually pass climate legislation during the Democrats' 2 years in power.
And why protest Schumer's office and not Joe Manchin?
Because there's always going to be a sheep that strays away from the herd. It's the job of leadership to get the party together and actually pass what people need.
I mean, he ain't wrong.
What are you asking from Schumer that he's not doing?
It's the job of leadership to get the party in order and pass the legislation. He is correct. But now, no. The dire, wrong meme. The dire emergency that we face. For those who have not seen the graphic that inspired this meme, this is the heat wave of June 1976. It is compared to the aggregate data 1955 through 1980 in terms of temperature. So this is the anomaly in terms of temperature for the heat wave of June 1976. This is the June 2022. And this isn't even the heat wave. This isn't even the July heat wave that we're going through right now. This is just June 2022. Compared to the same aggregate data between 1951 and 1980. But former MTV VJ Kennedy has some harsh words for the climate protesters.
Lost his mind and in turn lost the argument on climate change. He heartlessly and inexplicably tried to use the Uvalde tragedy to score some cheap political point. And it was as disgusting as it sounds.
You know, the climate deniers are really in some ways similar to all of those almost 400 law enforcement officers in Uvalde, Texas, who were waiting outside an unlocked door while
he's kind of right.
Were being massacred. They heard the screams, they heard the gunshots, and
Code Cane. Welcome. Thank you for being a freaking follower.
The only former vice president experiencing public cognitive decline. So Gore somehow thought re-traumatizing the poor families who lost their babies would get them to all buy Teslas. How grotesque, how disgusting. This kind of salacious, overly emotional fear-mongering, it doesn't change minds. It just demonstrates the speaker has lost his. Gore then went on to moan about the lack of congressional action, but beating skeptical lawmakers into submission with flimsy arguments has diminishing returns. Instead of assuming anyone who doesn't fully embrace fanatical climate orthodoxy is a murderous denier, why not assume people want to save the planet? They just don't want to do so by destroying their livelihoods and the economy in the process. Prince Albert talks about climate.
Prince Albert, all she does is like low blow attacks. Prince Albert over here putting his head on a football graphic. Remember who funds Fox News, and we're on Fox Business here, by the way.
Deniers. When it's not clean energy they fear, it's climate radicals' dirty politics. Gore has torched so many straw men, they're likely to spark wildfires in California. And then he has the gooey nards to say the climate crisis shouldn't be a political football.
The gooey nards.
The Tom Brady of planetary hysteria. We've seen all sorts of unimpressive stunts from unwell green activists who've taken to slashing tires, shutting down freeways, and gluing themselves to priceless works of art and international...
Climate change is worse. Gonna murder like all the children.
Private planes of do-gooders and hypocrites like Albert Gore, Harry and Meghan, and John Kerry. That's one airlift that might get some attention. And these climate kooks could finally get a 20,000-foot view of an issue they have clearly overblown. And that's the memo. Al Gore's...
But how you presented no supporting evidence. If it's overblown, What's your evidence that it's overblown? And okay, it's a very weird analogy, but I get what he's saying. But like climate change is gonna kill all the children's. And
the only one preaching this stuff. One CNN columnist says, it's time to cut back on air conditioning to save the planet. He wrote an opinion piece titled, A Very European Answer to Air Conditioning. Newsflash, it's over 100 degrees in some places, and this ain't Europe. Will Al Gore and his climate comrades ever go away? The party panel is back. Stephen L. Miller, Richard Fowler, and Olivia Rondeau. So not only was this disgusting, Stephen.
I mean, it is a political issue.
About almost everything.
Yeah, I mean, Man Bear Pig is competing.
I take exception to saying that, Al Gore made it a political issue. Why not ExxonMobil made it a political issue in the 1970s when they had all the data that said it was absolutely occurring? They knew exactly what was going to happen now if they continued to burn fossil fuels or increase the rate of burning fossil fuels. They knew exactly what was going to happen. But they spent millions, if not billions of dollars to lobby our government against climate action. Al Gore is just speaking out against that lobbying against climate action. So how is Al Gore really the one that's politicizing it? A capitalist society, how can it be anything other than the big corporations that are pouring an insane amount of money into politicians that are politicizing it? He said, "Man, bear, pig."
This is disgusting, Stephen.
But hey, here's the thing: is Matt and Trey have pretty much apologized for Man, Bear, Pig, because Man, Bear, Pig now on the show is very real in killing people and destroying lives and property in South Park. Matt and Trey are aware of what's going on. Tones, Coffee Creamer, welcome.
Al Gore has been wrong about almost everything.
Has he?
Yeah, I mean, Man Bear Pig is competing for shock attention with a scoldy Swedish teenager and, like you said, people gluing their faces to the Mona Lisa. So it doesn't shock me that he kind of went down this road. But you're talking about a guy who, he seems out of his depth talking about, like he's searching for the most shocking thing that he could find reading Twitter, and he just kind of loses the point. And, this is
he's out of his depth and not the podcast host and the 90s VJ.
The polar ice caps would be gone by 2013. As far as the climate emergency, look, I think a lot of us will sympathize with that when these people lecturing us start.
So the thing about the polar ice caps is they didn't realize that there would be this remelt. So the ice is nowhere near as dense as it used to be, but it has a thin layer of ice that still looks like ice. What they said was going to happen actually happened, but there's still visibly ice, but it's very fucking thin. Yeah, well, they glued their hands to the Mona Lisa, I think. That's a thing that actually happened a few days ago. Tuesday, Wednesday of last week, maybe.
Acting like it when President Biden flies an hour and a half to give a climate speech that he could have given over Zoom at the White House. And people see this stuff, and it just kind of makes everyone roll their eyes. They are their own worst enemies.
And, Richard, they are very dishonest.
Oh, was it reproduction?
When
cool.
They talk about the
that would make more sense.
And, stop treating people as though they hate the planet Earth and they want it all to just go to hell in a smoking mass. They don't. People want clean air. They want beautiful vistas. They really want all of that. But they've also been lied to that the only way to have clean, non-carbon emitting energy sources is through windmills and solar farms. That's not the case.
Nobody said that.
Nuclear energy in this country is possible. We should have been exploring the technology decades ago, and that would power entire grids while making the earth cleaner and sweeter. Why are they lying about that?
Nobody is lying about nuclear, and as I've said, like, if you can address my concerns with nuclear, first of all, I would not want a nuclear power plant operated as a for-profit entity or a private entity in the hands outside of governmental control. I wouldn't. I would not be cool with that. If you guys have watched Chernobyl, the docuseries, docudrama, I guess you'd call it, on HBO, like, I believe that it would happen exactly like that in a capitalist system if that was a for-profit entity. Nuclear Inc. whatever company that is running nuclear power plants as for-profit entities, if they had a nuclear meltdown, would do their best to minimize it. No, it's not this bad. No, it's not. Just like the Soviets did. The other thing is, like, how do you dispose of the waste? We have no way of disposing of the waste. It's also a security risk to have the waste stored somewhere. So, like, there are issues, but I'm not entirely against nuclear. The problem is that you have a lot of, NIMBY motherfuckers that say, not in my backyard. And you end up with nuclear power plants, causing harm to marginalized neighborhoods. You say it's an inflated issue, but you're not presenting me like, I'm a realist over here, my friend. I don't know why you think it. You won't be able to send a link. That's one of the things to cut down on spam. If you have the Discord, please hop in the Discord and do hit me with a link. Send it to me in a private message on Twitch. I'm down with that too. I try to check my messages on Twitch and I forget for weeks on end, and then like I'll come on, people be like, "Hey, you want to come on my show?" Sending nuclear waste to the sun. That don't seem like a good idea. What is fucking create some kind of gigantic bomb? I mean, the sun is a bomb itself, basically, in the sky. It's its own gigantic nuclear reactor. Yeah. Where I would have to really look into the subject. Know how much waste a nuclear reactor produces. Exactly, what is the, just storing it underground in some concrete bunker or something isn't cool with me. And like we already produce enough waste in the world. Kitties! If we can do through hydro, through wind farms, through solar panels, I mean, so if we outfitted every home in the country with solar panels, we're going to have excess energy in the grid. So if we have a large combination of hydroelectric, wind, solar, I don't understand why we would have the need for nuclear. And also, building a nuclear reactor, takes 10 years, 15 years or something like it? It's a really long time before you can pull those motherfuckers online. Because the nuclear reactors we have in this country are incredibly fucking old. You don't think just slinging nuclear waste at the sun? I mean, it would take a tremendous amount, I would assume. But like eventually, like the sun gonna get angry. Why is your screen name Kanye? I mean, I'll give it a watch, but like, I don't know who this guy is. Kyle Hill. Award-winning science educator and educator, SciComm advisor to the White House, a legend. Okay, fair enough. Worked with Mythbusters, the Nerdists. Got a good resume. I mean, I'll give it a listen, but like, I'm still skeptical. A lot of, so it still seemed like the method he is advocating is just to bury it underground. And like, this is the same thing with the carbon sequester. I always fuck the word up. It's just burying it underground, and like, that's not solving the problem. I think I'm more into the throwing it into the sun, to be honest with you. I think they're selling me on throwing the nuclear waste into the sun. Hey, Elon! But you're still not solving my number one issue, which is a private company having its hands on a nuclear reactor. That's my number one thing. Ida, welcome. I mean, I don't know. Nuke the sun then. I'm kind of with the dude now that maybe maybe we should nuke the moon. Oh, Drake says, don't ask Elon. We actually need this problem solved. We don't just need somebody to posture. And probably proposition somebody who worked on the project under him. There is a professor that says all of our problems could be solved by destroying the moon, and like, I read a little bit of it and I'm like, it kind of sounds convincing. As my moon, sir. When the moon hits your eye. I'm sorry. This is too much. But I don't know. I mean, like, then we don't have tides anymore with America's moon. We put the flag on it, motherfuckers. That's our footprints up there. Bow down. Sassy, I wonder if she was, always, had that libertarian bent to her. Maybe she didn't pay attention to politics in the 90s. Maybe she married some right-wing libertarian asshole. The moon is the primary cause of ED. Is that true? I don't think there's data supporting that. Need to go back to imperialism. Now I'm gonna focus on colonizing outer space. I mean, okay. Colonizing outer space. I mean, like, there's no life forms to enslave and abuse. So, like, hey, have fun with it. Who is this woman? Has she even spoke? Dustin, welcome. Oh, we've just had a party tonight. I don't think I can do any more of this. And don't forget, we're going to do Joe Biden's playlist after this. Coming up in just a little bit. We've only got a few more stories.
Around the country, the latest COVID-19 variants are taking their toll on Americans. Cases are surging, hospitalizations.
Just in time for school.
Mandy Gaither tells us about the latest vaccines being studied as medical researchers are the next generation of protection against the virus.
A wave of COVID-19.
Yes, I did indeed say Obama. Before we do COVID stories, we'll get a little preview over here. We're going to listen to Obama's summer playlist. It just dropped today. Jack White, Bruce Springsteen, Doechii, Dijon are among the former president's seasonal selections. So we're gonna go off for just a few minutes and we're gonna come back on. I'm going to dump you guys somewhere else. So if you want to continue to talk about politics, do go somewhere else. But I will be back on in just a few minutes and we'll do Barack Obama's playlist.
Around the country, the latest COVID-19 variants are taking their toll on
But before that, I'm going to give you some bad news about how COVID's going to rack your ass. Come on.
Americans. Cases are surging, hospitalizations and deaths are also trending up. Mandy Gaither tells us about the latest vaccines being studied as medical researchers are the next generation of protection against the virus.
A wave of
We want Hunter's playlist.
crashing over the U.S. again, fueled by BA4 and BA5, the latest variant said to spread more easily and evade prior immunity.
I've been telling folks that it feels a little bit like we're in a no man's land of COVID.
Hospitalizations and deaths are rising, but not yet to the peaks we've seen in past surges. Health officials say it's because of COVID-19 vaccines. And the next era of protection could come in the form of a pill or a spray.
Most of those are in pre-human trials or in very small
Had to be on that laptop somewhere.
Both will need to go through more rigorous, larger scale testing before even trying to get FDA authorization. But
I'm not a doomer. I'm just doing the news. Just doing the news.
But some medical researchers say delivering
Wait. Does the moon control periods? Is that a thing? Moon controls periods? The nurse says no. Although several cultures have some tradition that connects menstrual cycles and the moon, studies suggest otherwise. Whoever said it, I think it was RB, maybe. RB might have been making a joke. Stop posting bullshit. Justin will believe you. Here you get the science and the lore behind menstruation and the moon. That seems like a very interesting article, and some of you guys might like to read that. Amnestic. Fuck, I'm the one that believed it. But then again, I'm kind of stupid. Just saying. We RB making a joke? No. Clever smartasses. I like that. Is there really a connection between your menstrual cycle and the moon? Healthline answers your question. Cancel Justin for being fucking stupid. I mean, that's what fucking Sparkles was like. Hey, you fucking idiot. You brought back the wrong kind of cake. Cancel Justin, indeed. Cancel Justin. Oh, okay. So we're gonna breeze through this news real fast here. I'll just let you guys know that the reformulated COVID vaccine boosters may be available earlier than expected. The Biden administration may scrap plans to let more younger adults get second COVID-19 boosters this summer. Instead, officials are trying to speed up availability of next generation of boosters in the fall. The new strategy is aimed at trying to balance protecting people this summer with keeping people safe next winter, when the country will probably get hit by yet another surge. But the possible shift is being met with mixed reactions. The Food and Drug Administration could make a final decision by the end of the week. An alarming number of parents are skeptical of the COVID-19 vaccines. 43% of parents with young kids say their children will definitely not get COVID vaccine. 500,000 children. Oh, shit.
Vaccine options for kids as young as 6 months. Moderna's 2-shot vaccine may bring an immune response quicker, while the Pfizer 3-dose regimen may bring a greater immune response after the 3rd dose. So I want to bring in ABC News contributor, Chief Innovation Officer at Boston Children's Hospital, Dr. John Brownstein, for a little bit more on this. Dr. Brownstein, how do parents choose between the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines for their little ones?
All this information is overwhelming, I know, for parents, and this is a question I'm getting most often, is which one to decide between. Both are incredibly safe and effective, so either is a good option, and we're lucky to have both. As you mentioned, the Pfizer vaccine takes more time because it can take, that 3rd shot takes 2 months later, so it will take time to get that full immunity, but that's getting into the weeds a little bit. Both vaccines do incredibly well, and their safety profiles are really impressive. So I would just take whatever's available. The differences between these vaccines are so subtle, and it's really about the...
So the thing with polio, I wouldn't be so worried about. Monkeypox, yes. I'm afraid we're going to have outbreaks of monkeypox in schools. It's not going to be pretty. I'm not looking forward to this fall. And once again, the insanity that we're seeing on the right is going to be ramped up because we're in the congressional election year. The insanity is going to be cranked to 11. And if the kids are having the monkeypox outbreaks, and as I said all along, well, health officials were talking about it being transmitted in the gay community after raves and shit. And hey, that may have been where it started. But you don't want to stigmatize it. So now we get to the fall and there's going to be outbreaks of the monkeypox in schools. And these nut jobs have been accusing teachers of grooming children all this time. They're trying to run off good teachers from public education because they want to privatize it. They are going to ramp up their attacks this fall, and monkeypox may be a catalyst. Joe Rogan has still got his panties in a wad about being called a conservative. Joe Rogan went after those who believe he's a secret conservative and bashed Republicans who are against gay marriage during a recent podcast interview. Well, hey, good for you.
What do you think that is about? What is this? It's not just abortion rights, but now they're going after gay marriage too, which is so strange to me. That people are talking, Marco Rubio was saying that it was a silly thing to argue about.
The slagaholic. Thank you for being a freaking follower.
Senator who is a gay woman confronted him, and she was furious at it because gay marriage is
that's a great suggestion. Slagaholic.
And it's for them. It's important. They want it. They want to affirm their.
You should have just calmly told people, if you live in sexual anarchy, then just be careful out there of the monkeypox.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Did I Photoshop his face? Did I not Photoshop his face? Is that his real face? Hard to tell.
Their love and their relationship, and the fact that they're going after that now almost makes me feel like they want us to fight. They want to divide us in the best way they can, and that this is the best way for them to keep pulling off all the bullshit they're doing behind the scenes, is to get us to fight over things like gay marriage, or get us to fight over things like abortion. Or it's just like,
Yes.
why
Yes.
are you removing freedoms?
Yes.
And and then this new thing where they're gun rights, like trying to go after the Second Amendment. You see that story that recently happened where there's a shooter in a mall?
Can we
and
say
this guy
something about
pulled
the
out
gay
his gun?
marriage real quick?
Yeah, please.
Like, if you're going to say that marriage is an important cultural institution to the fabric of America,
right,
you can't remove it from Americans.
Right.
You can't.
I have no clue. I have no clue how straight people have sex. I don't like straight people. Not saying that I don't have sex with women. Quite the opposite. They just don't tend to be straight. I'm not straight. The guys I'm having sex with are probably not straight, I assume. The trans people I have sex with are not straight. Maybe they are. I don't know. Yeah, they would be. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I live in sexual anarchy.
You live in sexual anarchy?
We create a family and we love one another, and this is how we
Right.
express our love, and then say, these Americans can't do that shit.
It's so homophobic because you're saying there's something wrong with being homosexual. By saying that you are
Dick is yummy.
Gay marriage, you're saying you're opposed to gay people.
Yeah.
Because if gay people are in love with each other and they want to have a celebration and they want to be legally bonded and connected, and there's all sorts of benefits to that in terms of
Financial benefits.
financial
Like,
benefits,
you build it into the
taxes.
system,
But
yeah.
not only that, like if your loved one is in jail or not in jail, well,
Is
that
on
that too.
trial, you can't-
Or
yeah.
I was going to say in a hospital.
Oh, that's right. You have access to them, yeah.
You have access to them,
Yeah.
and you're the only one that has access to them because you're their spouse. You're the one who has power of.
For some reason, Joe Rogan made my balls itch.
Yeah.
Oh, Core, what's up? Welcome.
Affirming that relationship.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're going after that now, like that's the kind of shit that keeps me from being a Republican.
Yeah.
It's only one of the there's a bunch of shit that keeps you from being a Republican.
Yeah.
But that's
I was
one
about
of
to
them.
say.
Like, oh, you're a secret conservative. I'm like, you could suck my dick. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm so far away from being a Republican.
Yeah.
Just because I believe in the Second Amendment and just because I support the military and just because I support.
Well, technically, conservative and Republican are different things, Joe.
Police.
Yeah.
Like I was on welfare as a kid.
Yeah.
I think it's important. I
Yeah.
think having a social safety net is
It's great,
crucial.
yes.
It's crucial.
Yeah.
We should help each other. We're
Yeah.
supposed to be one big community. I'm a bleeding heart liberal. when it
But
comes to a lot
but
of
yet
I also believe in discipline.
you
and
would vote for DeSantis.
Yes, that's where I fall into the more conservative.
I mean, is it a nice dick?
Yeah, but I'm not a person who wants to keep all my money and not pay taxes. Like people have accused me of moving to Texas because I didn't want to pay taxes. No, I moved to Texas because I want fucking freedom. What do you think that is?
What the fuck? What? Texas is freedom? Don't they like outlaw the number of dildos you have in Texas? Like you can't have more than 11 or 12? Oh, you've heard it's kind of small. Oh. Well, man, like I don't know, you give me a little crack, I might enjoy it.
I was on crack.
Right. Well,
You never know. You never know. All right, here's what we're going to do. Well, first you get your animal video. And then I got to have like 5 minutes to switch the graphics and everything. Make a new stream. And we're going to come back and we're going to listen to Obama's summer playlist. It just dropped today. I'm very curious about it. I saw a fellow leftist on the Twitter post, who cares about Obama's playlist. My comment was, yeah, it's usually pretty good in all fairness. Yes, here's your couple kittens. Avenging Pineapple. You mean the Hillary Clinton connection? I just knew it was Hillary who uploaded those documents to Hunter Biden's laptop from a secret layer in the studio that she shares with the Trilateralist Commission. The same studio where they faked the moon landing. Hillary then used technology from the Roswell UFO to take control of a Jewish space laser that she used to beam the documents into the laptop. Just ask any Trumpster. They will tell you all this is true. That's a hell of a copy pasta. I like it. If it's not, it should be. I thought some light was coming on behind me. It was just the troll head coming at me. Oh, by the way, we are still on
Biden dies of COVID watch.
Though he says he's feeling a lot better. And then he plans on being back to work by the end of the week. We are also on
Dies of COVID watch.
Senator Joe Manchin, also positive for COVID, but they got access to the good medicines. Biden took the Paxlovid. I didn't care enough about Joe Manchin to check and see if he, check and see an update today on him. Unless he dies, I don't give a fuck. But he's got access to the Paxlovid. But all right, I'm going to dump you guys in a channel. Possibly producer Dave if he's on right now, but I don't know. They're still in the process of making the move, so they're not exactly on all the time. So if you are into doing politics, I'm gonna send you over to Polly. And you can stay there and you can do the politics. If you want to do former President Obama's summer playlist, which I had pulled up over here. I had pulled up because I was gonna preview what was on it. Kendrick Lamar, Beyonce, Harry Styles. He's got some throwbacks on there. Bruce Springsteen, Jack White, Rosalia, Lil Yachty, Prince, Maggie Rogers, Miles Davis. It's always a very cool mix. Like I give him props. He has a good playlist. So I'm going to take like 5 minutes, switch the graphics. We're going to come back. We're going to listen to Obama's playlist. If you're not into Obama's playlist, you're going to head over to Poly People, and you guys can talk about. Looks like Trump and free gold coins is what she's got going on. I said hey to Polly earlier tonight. She's looking fabulous as always. So go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We'll see you in like 5 minutes for a different stream.